What's up, everyone? I sound like shit, but we're gonna do with that what we can. It's not COVID, though. I took a rapid test and it came back negative. So, at least we have that.
Ooh, what are you drinking? Are you drinking tea?
I have been drinking tea, but the tea is gone now.
Oh, that is a shame.
Isn't it just? But, have water. We will remain hydrated.
I
I
wonder how long every time when somebody gets sick, they feel the need to say it's not COVID. Like,
I
when
think that's
will
gonna
that eventually
persist for a
stop?
very long time.
yeah.
Because it is like, it's almost like a reflex. Like, every time I cough or something, I'm like, it's not
Not
COVID.
COVID. Yeah, no. I don't think I'm gonna leave off that little qualifier for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
I always feel bad because I always develop like something of a cough in the winter because like I run year round and that means you spend a lot of time deep breathing cold air, and so I go into work, I'm like hacking up a lung, and it's like it's not COVID. I know I sound like I'm dying, and that's because I am, but not from COVID.
So, Zach, where did you find this list of questions that you have for us today?
Oh, so I went to this website, um, Google, and it provided me with this list.
I love it.
Yeah. Not all of them are great. Some of them are like kind of downers. So we're
Cute.
gonna kind of pick and choose. Um, or not downers, but just not like I don't know. They don't sparkle. Um,
I love it.
but if you had to work, but you didn't need the money, what would you do?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Hmm. Probably something with animals, like at a zoo.
Oh, that'd be
Yeah,
super fun.
I like that a lot. I always love those videos of like people and then like the lion comes up behind them and like hugs them and like I don't know how you got that job, but I would love that job
That
so
does sound
much.
great. I think I would just
Yeah,
work on a bunch of like underfunded like short films and stuff. That'd be great.
that'd be cool.
That'd be very
Mm-hmm.
fun.
It's so funny because I genuinely do love government and politics, and like there are some state houses where like state lawmakers don't actually get a salary, like they're not paid for it. Um, so I would probably I would want to do like that, and then while I'm not in session, like hang out with big cats
I love it.
and get hugs from them. I
Wonderful.
think that would be the best of all the worlds.
Man, I would love to have my own yarn shop and
Oh,
just
you'd
spend
be
all
so
day
good
talking
at
about yarn.
that.
That would be oh my god, no wait, that would be awesome.
I could have a bookstore or like I don't know, just some fun little store of nerdy things like books and other nerd stuff. That'd be great.
There was a guy in Schenectady who like retired from his job and started a bookstore, and like I don't think he was in it for the money because like it was very much not, you know, like
Not a lucrative business.
yeah, but like that's such a vibe. He just hung out in a bookstore.
Like, right? Pop off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
because
I hmm?
if you were independently wealthy, you just had
Yeah,
money, you could pay people to do all like the books and the businessy stuff, and
Yeah.
then like just hang out in your shop and read and talk to people about books, or in my
yeah,
case, just sit there and knit and help people pick out yarn for fun.
You'd be so good at that.
that would just be
The
such a
dream.
vibe.
I'm always going to the local knitting shop that's owned by a couple of women like 20 minutes from here, and I'm just so jealous of their life. Like I'm just like, this is your life every day.
I
Yeah,
love that.
You hang out and you talk about yarn and you knit.
and you get paid for it.
Yeah, they do good business. It's very popular.
We
It's
do, Stan.
awesome. It's
Plus,
we
it's
do.
fancy yarn like I use, so it is not cheap.
That'll do it.
Are there like are there stores that you guys go to where like you're paying more for the product, but you still go anyways just because the vibes?
Oh, any kind of like
Like,
independent bookstore.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I'm 100% here
Al-
for that.
Although honestly, sometimes you find books cheaper at independent bookstores than you do from like
Yeah,
Barnes and
sometimes.
Noble. Um, I don't know. There's a couple local bookstores in upstate New York I can think of, or even here, where like the books are pretty cheap. And granted, they're like normally secondhand, but still, like
I mean, I love used books, but
Yeah,
sometimes I'm
like-
like, you know, I want my fancy hardcover copy of like some brand new thing that I'm excited for, and like sometimes I will just pay more for that at like a independent bookstore because screw corporations.
I, for the longest time, was under the impression that like whatever you can find in a brick and mortar, you can find cheaper on Amazon, and that's probably still true for the most part. But like, I was in Barnes and Noble because the mall I work at has a Barnes and Noble, and there was a book, and I looked up on Amazon, and it was more expensive on Amazon, and I got to buy a book in like a real store, which
That's
is
another
its own
thing.
little
Like, as
stuff.
much as I love, like, you know, as much as I love the convenience of like shopping online, it's like this thing delivered to your door in 2 days. Sometimes I want the thing right now, like right this second, and I will
Yeah.
like put off ordering it online in order to go to a store
Yeah.
like 2 days later. The amount of time that it would have taken to ship, but I will like wait in order to receive it immediately.
Instant gratification.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that says about me as a person, but there you have it.
One thing I definitely pay more for at a local, I go to the local record store.
Oh, absolutely.
Ooh, yeah.
A lot of vinyl you can get cheaper online, but like
Yeah.
I'm going to the local record store. I'm paging through the records.
Yeah, I want the
and
vibes.
finding treasures and
Yeah.
you know the record store I go to has been around since 1975.
I've been there. Cool shit.
You have. It's an amazing record store.
It's
They got a whole
delightful.
bar in back. They got a T-Rex skeleton back there. Vintage furniture.
God, I wish that were me.
No, literally.
You even have their
Oh.
own-
I wonder. Okay, maybe a dream job would be like running the Museum of Science in Boston. I'm sorry, you said T-Rex, and they have that giant
Oh.
T-Rex, and so I was like, oh my god, wait, I can work
That
in my
is
favorite
pretty
place
litty.
ever. hmm That genuinely is like probably one of my favorite places ever.
I'm trying to remember what museum it was that we went to on my 8th grade trip to Boston. And I don't know if it was the Museum of Science, but it might have been.
Was there a massive like 3-story T-Rex?
I absorbed a lot of information that day.
Yeah. Can you think of any of the exhibits? Because a lot of them are like remain the same.
There was one about Egypt. Like ancient Egypt.
You know what's funny? That's not one of their permanent exhibits, but when I went, I think I was also in like 7th or 8th grade. They had a movie in their IMAX theater that was like a documentary on like the Middle East and Islam. And for the life of me, I cannot remember what it's called. But I loved it, and if I could watch it again, I would like lose my mind. So maybe, I don't know. But like,
Interesting.
I don't think they have like a permanent
Okay, well then whatever.
twin in Egypt. I don't know. I was just curious. It
It's
is
all good.
an amazing place.
Yeah, that would be fun.
I think someday maybe the yarn store would be my retirement plan.
Oh my god, yes!
I don't think I'm going to be working at a
Yeah.
zoo when I'm old enough to retire because that's a lot of like manual labor. But I could see
Yeah.
myself at like 65, 70 years old opening up a yarn shop.
The consulting knitting granny.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Or just working at one.
That'll be awesome.
Most local yarn shops are too small and they don't actually hire very often.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
It's probably something that like you'd have to start, and then, yeah, that's fair. If you could be a member of any of any TV sitcom family, which would it be?
Ooh.
Do they
and
all have to be
I-
related?
So it doesn't specify, but like by sitcom, I don't know if they mean like a show with a literal laugh track or just like a comedy.
Because my answer immediately is What We Do in the Shadows. I would love to be incorporated into that weird found family and made into an immortal sexy vampire.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Does it count as a family? 'Cause
Oh my
if
god.
it does-
Okay, I count them as a family because they 100% are.
That was the first thought I had too.
That show means everything to me.
Because I'm like, oh, I don't watch that many comedies. What are comedies? I watch.
Yeah.
So this is something that you guys would know a lot more about than me. That you both would know a lot more about than me. I've always considered sitcoms like things with laugh tracks. Is that strictly true, or am I just like miscategorizing?
I wouldn't say so.
Okay.
No, I mean just a show like The Office, for example,
Yeah, that's a sitcom.
or Modern Family.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no,
That's
absolutely. I want to join the Staten Island House and What We Do in the Shadows. Please make me a vampire. I want to be Nadja's best friend, and I also want her to be my sexy hot vampire mommy. I love that show so much. It is unhealthy. I cannot wait for season 4. I'm going to lose. Like, I apologize for the person I'm going to become when season 4 comes out.
I cannot wait to see what they do.
I am going to be the worst. I'm going to be so much worse than I already am.
I'm glad you finally seen it, so it's not just me, like,
I
freaking
know,
out about it.
oh my god, again. This is why we need to do a stream where we just, like, talk about our, like, nothing formal, not even any kind of recap, where we just talk about our feelings, because there's a lot of them. It's great, it's great.
Okay.
It's so great. Oh, man. Yeah, final answer. I want to be a vampire.
Very fair.
Do you have an answer, Zach?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about me.
Yeah.
I forgot you were a person.
I think so. Okay, if it didn't have to be like a family, if it could just be like a bunch of people hanging out, then like Cheers, like that group of weirdos who hangs out at Cheers. I love them so much. If it had to be a proper family, then definitely the Cranes from Frasier. I have always said this. I wish like Frasier Crane was like a real person and I could be his friend. He is so obnoxious, but also like just I don't know, like somebody that I feel like that would fill a role in my life, and so probably the Cranes.
I don't even know if I have an answer for, like, an actual family. Like, I cannot think of the last time.
You're missing an obvious one.
Me? Or
No,
Bridget?
Did you think of it? Did you get it?
Schitt's Creek?
Yeah.
Yes! Oh my god,
That'd be
yes.
Rose.
I want to join the Roses. That'd be great. I love them so much.
I don't know if you noticed my little expression while Zach was talking. It suddenly hit me and went,
I will look for that when I'm editing this.
my eyes just got real big for a second. I'm like, I'll wait. And then perfectly you said, I don't think I could think of an actual family. I'm like,
yeah, I would like to. I would totally join them. That'd be great.
yeah.
I love Schitt's Creek so much. Now I'm just thinking about that. This is just devolving into shows that Bridget and Brooks like.
There's a lot of them. There's quality stuff out there.
Isn't there?
All right. I just saw one. What is an app that you hate but use anyways?
I mean,
I was just
Twitter.
thinking. I was just thinking about the messaging earlier that the subreddit that you follow.
Oh yeah, I follow a subreddit called r/horribly depressing because I hate myself.
Because I was like, oh, this is a very sad video, and then I looked at the subreddit name and I was like, oh,
That's why.
Okay. Yeah, and I was like, why on earth would you follow that?
Again, we've it's long been established that I'm a very high sensation-seeking individual, and it does not matter if that sensation is positive or negative. Make me feel things.
See, I like strong sensations when they're good ones. Like, that's why I like roller coasters and things, but not so much sad ones.
Yeah, I frequently watch movies with the intent to hurt myself emotionally.
Oh, I think we all have that playlist of songs that it's like, when you're sad, you know it's going to make you sadder, but it just fits the vibe.
Yeah.
The Wallow playlist.
Yeah.
I was actually looking at my phone and was like, are there apps that I hate?
Yeah, actually.
Literally every dating app. I don't find it to be an enjoyable experience.
Sure.
Other than that, I mean, I don't see why I would use an app that I didn't like, I guess. The dating apps are out of necessity.
Yeah, I mean, other than like my comments about like what social media like does to a person's mental health, and I don't even like to be too much like that. Like, there's funny stuff out there. I enjoy them, but like, yeah, Twitter, I guess sometimes.
It was kind of my default if I couldn't find anything else. Um, I'm not really coming up with anything better. Like probably one of the, it's like something in the Twitter, Instagram, Facebook like trio.
Yeah, actually,
Um,
Facebook probably annoys me the most, and I hardly ever even use it. Like, I'd only use it when I have to.
yeah.
So, there's that.
I'm very disappointed in myself for having the Crumble Cookie app on my phone.
Yeah.
What's that?
Crumble Cookie is like a chain of stores that sell giant cookies.
It
Oh,
happens to the best of us.
There's one of them near me. Unfortunately, like right next to my gym. Um, it's so easy to just order it on the app and then stop by and grab it on my way home from the gym. And these things are like monstrosities. Like it'll take me multiple sittings to eat one cookie.
I guess it's kind of sad that
But
I
they're
have the
so
Candy
good.
Crush app on my phone.
Yeah.
So, like, there's that.
I have that as well.
I know you do.
play Candy Crush a day in my life.
What's that like?
I don't know. Just more time for Twitter.
Fair enough.
I haven't played Candy Crush in a few weeks because I've been spending all of my spare phone time on the Duolingo app practicing my French.
I know, I
But
see that every time I log into Duolingo, and it, like, alerts me that you've hit some milestone.
oh, I'm burning through it.
I love that for you.
I remember a lot of stuff from college, but not that much. But
That's
but
something.
I don't remember what level I left off on exactly on Candy Crush, but it is over 6,000.
Jesus
I,
Christ.
when I hit level 6,000, they actually sent me an email saying I was part of like whatever percentage of people who got past that point. I can't remember what the number was. It
Yeah.
was definitely less than 5% of people.
Dude,
Yeah,
it's a little insane.
I've been playing it since I don't even know, many years at this
Fair
point.
enough.
I want to say I lived in Maine when I first downloaded it, and I moved away from there almost 7 years ago. So.
So, yeah, Red Hot Minute.
Mhm.
Noted.
These are two different questions. I'm just gonna kind of combine them. What's the stupidest thing you've done because somebody dared you, and what's the stupidest thing you've done just of your own free will?
I don't know about someone
See,
dare
this
me,
is
but I
hard for
can
me because I
definitely
know
think of
there's
the
a
stupidest
lot
thing
of
I've ever
answers for
done.
both. I can't think of something specific off the top of my head, but by all means, go ahead.
The stupidest thing I have ever done was when I tried to rescue a kitten that was hiding under my deck, and I had like used some, like put some food out to lure it out, and my stupid ass, I decided to swoop in from above like a hawk and grab it with my bare hand, and it escaped from me in a flurry of claws and teeth, and I had to get rabies shots.
So you didn't rescue the kitten.
I did not rescue the kitten. So that's the stupidest thing I've ever done.
That's
That wasn't even that long ago, though.
No, it wasn't. That one quickly took the top slot.
I can just think of a stupid thing that I did with friends. This is when we all found out we were collectively freeze and like the fight, flight, or freeze thing where we all went to my friend's cabin in Connecticut. It was me and like the other people of this like civic action group in college, and we all went to one of their cabins in Connecticut, and we were indoors and we made a fire, and one of the burning logs fell out onto the wooden floor, and 8 of us just sat there like watching this thing go, and somebody came in from the other room, like from the bathroom, was like, oh my god, and like tossed it back in. But like, yeah, this fully on fire log fell onto the wooden floor, and we just kind of stared at it.
Love that. Okay, well, that's good to know.
Not like the stupidest thing I did, because it was more of a collective thing, but definitely up there.
That's fair.
So it sounds like we need to add somebody to that group of friends if the 8 of you are ever together again. Somebody who wouldn't be the freeze type, just in case.
Yeah, we need to keep that one guy who was not the freeze. I don't know. I mean, now I'm curious because if he had been there when it fell out, maybe he would have just kind of collectively frozen with us. Maybe it's because he walked in on the situation. But
Could be.
Mm-hmm.
anyways, that was fun. I don't know. I think one of the stupidest things I've done of my own free will, just because I'm not an intelligent person. I was skiing when I was like, God, how old was I? Like 11 maybe. I was skiing with my dad, and we're kind of going along these, like, they're not cliffs, but like sharp drops that you don't want to go off of because you will get very hurt and or die. And there was all of this like netting, and on the netting it said like slow, like in big orange signs. And I was like, in my head, I was like, oh, like the trail's a slow trail. I should pick up speed so I don't lose momentum. So I like started flying down this thing, and I'm whipping around the turns. And at the time, I was not a very experienced skier. But, like, I had the hang of it. But at one point, there's like people cut in front of me, and I like fell down because you always fall down rather than hit somebody. And kind of like went off this ravine and like slid through the woods at like breakneck speed and until like I just stopped, and both of my skis came off. Both of my poles were not with me. In fact, one of my poles was like at the top of the ravine. I had just like stuck it in the top before going down. And my dad said afterwards, like after we made sure I was okay, he was like, it was like a cartoon because you just kind of went up and then just like dropped. And one of the safety patrol people came by and he just started yelling. He was like, "What are you doing down there? Like people will like always get impaled, and like it's not worth like trying to find your skis or whatever." And my dad was like, "Oh no, like he fell down there. Like I think the guy thought I lost like a pole down there or something. I was looking for it." It's like, oh, he fell down there. So, anyways, going extra fast while riding along cliffs on skis as a not super experienced skier. That's probably going to be one of the dumbest things I did of my own free will.
I got my head stuck in some railings as a child. On our staircase.
Bring out the peanut butter.
But I was also a toddler, so I don't know how much that like points toward my own stupidity or to the general.
Lack
just
of free
like,
will.
Kids do things and they're dumb because kids are learning.
All I can think is each of the broken bones that I've had has been the result of a very stupid thing. I think the one that immediately jumps to mind is I dropped a treadmill on my foot one time.
Oh my god.
How am I just hearing about this?
That was a really dumb thing I was doing because I'm trying to simplify the story as much as I can. I had a bunch of my stuff stored on a trailer temporarily that belonged to a friend of my boyfriend at the time, and she needed the trailer, so we had to get the stuff unloaded. And I foolishly thought I could just unload it myself while, my boyfriend at the time was at work, and it was the summer before I moved to Maine, so I was unemployed. So I'm like, I'm just gonna, move the stuff myself. And I got to the treadmill that was still on the trailer, and I thought, yeah, this is fine. I can move this myself. I could not move that myself. That was a very, very dumb choice, and I don't know why I did it. So yeah, broken. I was in a boot for a while.
Jesus.
Summer of 2013. It was a good time. There was a time I don't think I actually broke my ankle, but standing on the top rung of a ladder and then putting one of my feet against a wall and trying to reach a corner, that was good. I fell and got tangled up in the ladder.
Cute.
Or one of my personal favorites when I broke my hand.
Oh my god.
This was when I lived in Chicago, summer 2007. I lived in this really like historic neighborhood, like old buildings that, back in the day when they used to make these really big solid wood doors, like the kind that were like 15 feet tall, like I'm normally huge. And I had gone into one such door where my landlord was a couple buildings down from mine to drop off like a check or something, I don't remember. And I was leaving and I just automatically reached behind me to pull the door closed, not realizing that it apparently slammed shut on its own. And right in that door frame. And the really dumb part was I was 21 at the time. Just out of college by like a few weeks. and I didn't. It was the first time I was really on my own. Like I just moved to Chicago from Ohio, nowhere near family. I didn't even know how to like find a doctor on my own or anything. And I looked at my hand, which was, you know, swollen, bruised mass that I couldn't use, and I thought, that's fine.
Just put on some ice.
Yeah. And I went into work the next day and everything, and I'm just typing with one hand. And they're like, why are you typing with one? Oh my God. They're like, you need to go to a doctor. I'm like, no, it's fine.
It's
They
fine.
were very insistent, and I found an urgent care clinic. Yeah.
How
That
bad
was
was the break?
Well, so when I went to this urgent care clinic, it was on my way home from work. And when I got there, they looked at it and they were like, well, unfortunately, our x ray tech is gone for the day. So we can't x ray it, but I don't think it's broken. It doesn't seem like it is to me. So we're just going to wrap it up and everything. And we'll just keep you in like this, like a splint and stuff. And it'll be fine. Um, it never stopped hurting for like even long past when it should have healed. And I eventually, when I moved back to Ohio several months after that, I went to a doctor and was like, I slammed my hand in a door like months ago and it's still hurting. And so the doctor's like feeling, she's like, that was broken and never set.
Oh my
I could
god.
actually feel.
Is it still like, is it healed now or?
I mean, this was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
For a long time, it would hurt every time it rained. I get a little bit of an ache
Really?
there, but yeah, not really so much anymore.
I've heard from a lot of people though that like when you like I've had a lot of people say that like they've like walked around on a broken bone or whatever because they didn't think it hurt bad enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like that,
No, like
my sister like finished a softball game with a broken wrist.
it really is amazing how like you can't tell just how bad an injury is just from the pain level. Like people who get shot don't know they've been shot usually until later. Like
Yeah, it's whack.
yeah.
Body sort of like protects you from it a little bit.
Yeah.
Like shock and yeah.
But also like if you're doing something like playing softball, there is that just like adrenaline rush in general. It's probably gonna, kind of insulate your mind because it's like can't think about that right now. I did another stupid thing I forgot about.
Do tell.
So I love seeing how far I can push my car on one tank of gas. And
Terrible hobby.
oh yeah, it's so bad. But like I had gotten it so close to 500 miles. It's like 11.2 tanks.
Damn.
Yeah, no, I love this hybrid. It is 11.2 gallons, and my first stupid thing was leaving DC to go back to New York at like 7:30. I am not a night person, and I was like, I'll just get an energy drink and we'll just go. And then as I'm going, I'm getting more and more tired, but also I'm covering more and more miles, and I am like 20 miles outside of New York City. Even at 1 a.m, the traffic is horrendous. But I'm at like 495 miles, and my gas tank light comes on, and I'm still driving past exit signs because I want to get to 500. and I am fighting to stay awake, and I'm trying, but like I just want to get this thing to 500 so bad, and I finally get it, and I finally pull off the next one. I got to 502 miles. I got gas, and then I like slept in my car for 2 hours. That was the longest night ever.
I love that for you.
But I have pushed my car to over 500 miles on one tank. It was the
Nice.
dumbest thing. Yeah.
I mean, I think every every shot I've ever taken when I should have gone home counts as a pretty stupid thing that I've done.
So there's sort of a part two to this.
Hit me with
I
it.
was driving back. I think that was where were we coming back from? I want to say we were coming back from Boston. I had went to Boston with a friend of mine when we were coming back, and I was getting close. I was at like 495 miles or 490 miles, and my tank light came on, and I was and she knew this whole story already, and I was like, do we try to make history twice? And she was like, absolutely we do. So now I'm with somebody, and we're passing exit signs with gas stations, and you know when you like get off the highway and you pull, or actually no, this one, like when you're going to Schenectady and you get off the highway and there's like the community college on one side and then like the rest of the city on the other. I don't actually know which highway it is, but
I think I know
we're
what you're
like
talking about,
pulling
yeah.
off there, yeah. And I'm at like 498 miles, and then a second gas tank light comes on that I didn't know I had. And suddenly I am relying mostly on the fact that the rest of the drive to the gas station is downhill because I am not, it's really not moving. So I'm just kind of like rolling to get to 498 miles. I was so salty. But
Aw.
like, but like first there's like the gas tank light and it's this like little gentle yellow light. And then there's like this big red exclamation mark. And suddenly my gas pedal really isn't working all that well.
Oh
And
my.
like, but and I was like, see, this was so stupid. And she's like, oh no, but I like totally enabled you, and you know, but we did make it. We just didn't make it past 500
Sometimes you
miles
just gotta
again.
send it, you know? Just gotta send it.
Yeah, literally.
I think my mom would say, I don't know if the stupidest thing I've ever done, but a story she likes to tell is when I locked my key in my car while it was running. This was when I was in college and I was working summers at a Sheets, and so I was at work and I was warming up my car and I closed the door and it was locked. This was my first car ever, my tiny little hatchback. And there was only one spare key to it. But I had just come back from college for the summer and I had thrown the key in a random box from my dorm room. And so I had to explain to my mom, go down to the basement, find the box that looks like this, dig to the bottom of the
Ouch.
and get the spare key and bring it up to me. The whole time my car's running and I'm just standing there.
It's the things that your parents never let you live down.
Yeah, oh, she loves telling that story.
Although your car was probably very warm
I mean, not
by the
necessarily.
time.
It was a terrible car.
Okay.
I'm not exaggerating. I I actually found it listed in a book of the worst cars ever made.
I love it.
I was at a
That's
bookstore and I
actually
saw a
funny.
book on a display. It was like worst cars ever made. I'm like, oh, let me just flip through this randomly, and I'm like, oh my god, it's my car. They only made it for 10 years.
Oh no.
It was that bad. Didn't even have power steering.
Ooh.
It was straight. It was an awful car, and it was like a used car. Actually, it belonged to my oldest brother first, which I don't know how he even fit into it because he was like over 6 feet tall, and it's like, my other brother referred to it as the red dot.
Aw. That's kind of fun.
A Ford Aspire, for those who might be wondering what kind of car.
Good to know.
But funnily about
Okay.
the my broken hand, if you pay attention, I really only use like the middle finger on this hand. Even when I type, I only use my middle finger. I use my middle finger to touch things. It was because the brake was right here in my hand,
Gotcha.
and I adapted over time.
Interesting.
So permanent effect. I don't know why I typed just the one finger.
I've
That's
never
it.
broken a bone. I have technically had my bones broken for me.
Hmm.
Surgery.
Mhm.
But
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I was
never
like,
on
where it's
never
going.
never on accident. Always with intent.
Yeah. Ooh.
The longer we talk
Speaking of
about this, I
surgery,
feel like the more stories we're gonna think of about oh, it's just being so stupid.
I mean, I'm completely happy to continue going down this road because I frankly like I'm an
Ooh.
idiot.
I have. Okay. So I have a story. I don't know how much you guys know about this, but like I'm a chess player. Like I've played competitively like my whole life, and I once tried to play through appendicitis. So it was the New York State Championships, and I was like having the tournament of my life. Like it's 6 rounds. I had won like my first 2 games from the first day. The second day I like really wasn't feeling that great, and just like well no, I wasn't feeling great the first day. The second day like I had this really bad fever, and I won my third game, and then my fourth game I was winning and had to like take a draw because I was just like I was like shaking and feverish, and my parents were like we should go to the hospital, and I was like it's a fever, I'll be fine tomorrow, and they're like nope, we're going to the hospital, and it was appendicitis, and
Yikes.
I no longer have my appendix. But I would have fully gone and kept playing until my thing like burst.
Jesus.
But
That
yeah,
fits the theme of
yeah,
not acknowledging.
yeah.
That's so me. I get like every time I'm really sick, I'm just like,
Hello?
yeah, no, it's fine.
This is fine.
Yep.
Including when I had pneumonia a few years ago, I was like, yeah, no, that's fine. And then
Well,
it wasn't.
it was just like I was on fire. If I wasn't doing great, I would have been like, all right, I don't mind dropping out of the tournament. But I was literally like on a hot streak, like never had a tournament like going up. And then
Rip. Big rip.
the medical condition that if you get it once in your life, and it happened then. I was it was the Labor Day before I started 10th grade, so fun times. And now I'm curious, do you guys have your appendixes?
Yep.
Okay. I have no idea how common that is, come to think of it. I mean, I know it's relatively common. I don't have my tonsils either.
I do.
I don't have my appendix, my tonsils, or wisdom teeth.
I don't have my wisdom teeth. Those are gone.
Wait, so none of us have wisdom teeth?
No.
Okay.
I feel like most people don't at this point.
Talk about a Venn diagram thing we all have in common.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, I had the same summer I broke my hand and had tonsillitis for 4 straight months. And no antibiotics would work. So finally they were like, we're just taking out your tonsils. So I got them out at 20. Well, actually, no, I had just turned 22 when they took them out.
That's
Which,
so rough.
Yeah, as an adult, it's so much worse than getting them out as a kid.
Yeah.
The recovery time is like twice as long and way more intense.
Interesting.
I got mine out when I was like 17, and that was bad.
Yeah. I woke up choking on my own blood more than once.
Oh my god. No,
Jesus.
No, that happened to me too. Because they were like cold foods, but they never said like no solid food. So I was like, ice cream. And then I woke up in the middle of the night because I couldn't breathe, and like the shit had reopened, and went to the hospital, and they gave me fucking steroids because like I couldn't talk or breathe. I did not know that was. Yeah. I literally did not know that happened to like other people. I thought it was just like a freak accident.
Yeah,
no, it only happened to me once.
Yeah, because I don't know about you, but they had me sleep like elevated in case that happened. But I'd fallen asleep on the couch by accident.
Okay.
When it happened, and they called my doctor in the middle of the night, and they just had me gargle with salt water until it stopped.
Oh my god.
Ow.
Which,
that's not how
open wound. Yeah, gargled the salt water. Yeah, no, it was great.
Yeah, they didn't give me any sleeping instructions. It was a same day procedure, or not same day procedure, but like I left the day I got there.
Yeah.
I had sleep apnea. Okay, so this is gonna be a little bit gross, but it's okay. So I had sleep apnea, and like I wasn't getting any REM sleep or whatever, and so I went to some doctor, and they were like, oh yeah, like you'd be a great candidate to have your tonsils out because those things are huge. Apparently it was the first time they had ever taken out tonsils where both the tonsils did not fit in like the little jar that they put them in. It was that bad, like literally they were almost touching. Yeah. And like I had always been told I had big tonsils when I go in for like physicals or whatever, and I always knew I slept badly, but nobody, including myself, ever put those two together. And like,
interesting.
Might be it.
Interesting. Yeah, after I had my tonsils out, they lost me, which was fun. Because apparently they didn't have anywhere to put me after the surgery to, like, recover and wake up.
Yeah.
So they put me in, like, a room in the children's ward in an area that wasn't being used at the time. And apparently nobody knew where I was.
Oh my god.
So I'm waking up from surgery entirely alone in a room with, like, little cartoon characters on the wall and stuff. And I'm like, what hell is this? And I was in there, I mean, it felt like eons to me that I was just sitting in there alone, like, I can't even stand up right now because I'm still coming off the anesthesia, but why am I alone? And
that's some real, like, good place, bad place shit. Like,
that's a horror movie.
Eventually found me, they were like, oh, there you are! I'm like, I didn't put myself here.
Yeah.
Like, oh, how dare you wander off.
They didn't give me a choice of rooms, and I chose this one.
That shit they float you away on when you get your wisdom teeth out is fun.
Oh, yeah.
They, when I went in for, appendicitis, that whole night was just a train wreck. So there had been, like, a shooting in Albany that night. So, like, the OR was just booked.
Bruh.
And so, first of all, they thought I was there to visit somebody. And so I was just sitting in the waiting room for hours. And then they were like, are you seeing someone? And they're like, oh no, he's dying. Well, at this point, I didn't know I had appendicitis, but like I was very sick, and but there was no room, so I was just like on one of those like cots that was in the hallway, and the guy who did my blood draw was like an intern, and so I was bleeding like from that blood draw. Like I got blood all over the sheets because that was like his third time doing it ever.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And then, finally like one of the nurses like happened to walk by. I was like, oh my God, and like, fixed it. Oh, it was bad.
Sounds like
not a good
it.
time.
Does not sound ideal.
No, and I mean like after the surgery I was fine. It was just like a normal recovery. You rest for a few days and then you walk and then you're okay. But like before the surgery, it was just one bad thing after another.
Sounds like it.
So yeah, I almost ended up going to St. Peter's, and then we didn't, and I'm glad we didn't, because apparently one of the surgeons there got fired from Albany, where I did go, for like malpractice.
Oh my God.
I know.
This is just one thing after another with you.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if this counts as a stupid thing I did. I believe you've heard the story of the millipede in band camp in the emergency room.
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like that sort of qualifies, because I felt real dumb at the time. So I was in the marching band in high school, and we would go to a nearish by college every summer to do band camp and prepare for the football season.
Yeah.
And the college that we were at this particular summer was in the middle of the woods, like a tiny school, like 800 students, called Bethany College. It's in West Virginia. And we were staying in these sorority houses, and there were just bugs everywhere, just tons of bugs. And it was really gross, to the point where my friend that I was sharing a room with, we decided to sleep out on the couches in the lobby instead of our room because there were so many bugs.
Okay.
So we had slept out in the lobby, and then we, got up, got ready, put on some shoes to go out for the day. By the way, a pair of Vans I was wearing that I still have, they're like 20 years old.
Okay, at some point you're gonna have to show those to me.
Because they're in a box. I mean, I haven't worn them in years. I have some old pairs of Vans and Etnies and stuff like that in box, but I was a skater. But anyway, so I put on my Vans, and I noticed there's like something in the shoe. And I'm thinking, oh, I must have gotten a rock in it or something. But by this point, the whole band is walking toward the cafeteria for breakfast, and I can't really stop to get it out. So I think when I get there, I'll stop and, shake out the shoe, and it'll be fine. So that happens. I get there, I shake out the shoe, and it's a millipede, like a balled up, gross looking, like really thick millipede. The place was lousy with them.
I hate bugs. I hate bugs so much.
Grossed me out horribly, but I was like, no big deal. It was still alive. It's not like I squished it or anything.
Yeah.
It's like, whatever. Had breakfast, had early marching band practice and stuff like that. Then we were going back to the sorority houses to take a break before our next thing. So, of course, it's blazing hot in the middle of summer, and so I'm going to take off my shoes and socks when I get back. And when I did, my big toe and part of my foot was completely black. Just like black skin entirely, but it didn't hurt or anything. So I showed my friend, and she was horrified. She's like, "Oh my God, what's wrong?" I'm like, "I don't know, it's fine."
Yeah.
We're required to have a nurse with us, so we had a nurse, and so she ran to get her, like freaking out. And then the nurse is kind of freaking out too, because she's like, "Your skin looks necrotic," like to the point where she was looking like, "Maybe I have to amputate your foot," or something.
Yeah.
And she's like trying to like wash it off with a washcloth. Nothing's happening. They don't know what's going on. They give me some Benadryl just in case it's something allergic. Benadryl knocks me out, so I have very little recollection of what happened after. But they took me to an emergency room. And again, this is the middle of nowhere. It's in the mountains in West Virginia. So the nearest emergency room was like an hour or so. And I'm drifting in and out of consciousness in the back seat because of the Benadryl. So we get there. Somebody had captured one of the millipedes to take with us to show them in case it was like, poisonous.
Yeah.
So we get there, we wait, the doctor sees me, they look at my foot, they look at the jar, they look at us, and they say, that's nothing. They release a toxin that changes the skin color, and that's it. That's it.
Okay.
Uh,
That's
and
so
gradually,
anticlimactic.
yeah, my foot returned to normal color, just fine.
Love it.
But
How
that's
long
why I
did it
felt so
take?
stupid.
Yeah. Well,
Because
Oh,
no,
actually,
but you had every reason to be worried.
I want to
Like,
be clear. None of that was me. I said, guys, it feels totally fine.
okay,
Let's not worry about it. Let's, just keep an eye on it. It was
sure,
everybody
yeah.
else. Everybody else was losing their minds. Like, every member of the band thought I was dying. They wouldn't even let me walk on my foot. They insisted on, like, me walking on one foot and holding on to them. I'm like, it feels fine.
Okay, that's maybe a little bit
that's a bit
They made
much.
it so
Actually,
dramatic.
I would like to conclude with a very dumb story of mine from my study abroad experience, which, Brooks, you might know this.
Is it the accidental?
Yeah, it is. So,
They didn't spoil it.
while I was in St. Petersburg, a couple weekends, because I was there for a month, so on various weekends, we went out, like, to some of the nightclubs, and we had a great time. But the first time we did this... Also, by the way, our dorm was, like, a block away from, like, one of the biggest streets of nightclubs in St. Petersburg. I don't know whose idea this was, but it was a bad one, let me tell you. So the first night we go out, and, like, we hit a bunch of different places. We're having a great time. I have been drinking vodka tonics literally all night. I'm, like, 5 deep when this happens. It is 4 in the morning. And the sun is up, by the way, because this is the White Nights in St. Petersburg, so, like, the sun sets at, like, 9 p.m. and rises again at, like, 3. So, like, 4 in the morning. The sun is up. We are in the tackiest tourist trap club you can possibly imagine. It is called SSSR. There are murals of, like, shirtless Vladimir Putin riding bears all over this place. And it's just absolutely insane. Oh, fun. She's gone. Cool. The story killed her. Cool. Anyway, you're muted, bud.
Not anymore. I'm on my phone. My computer just blue screened on me.
Oh no.
Okay.
It's been doing that a lot.
Very cute. Yeah, anyway, as I was saying, tackiest tourist trap nightclub you can possibly imagine. And as we're, like, jamming on the dance floor or whatever, my friends are passing around a balloon. Which my stupid ass assumed was helium, because, what else would it be? I will gladly out myself as sheltered. I don't know how drugs work. So yeah, my friends are all passing this around, which I later learned that you could buy for, like, you could get these things for, like, 70 cents US, just, like, at the bar. And I'm certain it's not, that's not a legal thing that was happening, but that was happening. So yeah, it just gets passed to me and I take a hit, thinking it's helium, go on with my night. Nothing really even happens, but then the next morning, by the way, the next morning in the dorm, my other friend, who had been kind of, like, doing the, like, herding cats of, like, keeping a bunch of drunk girls, like, relatively, like, in the same area, he comes in and pokes his head through our door and wakes us up by going, cuckoo, just a bunch. And then as we were doing the kind of morning debrief, I realized what had happened, that I had in fact done whippets. So yeah, that's a stupid story of mine.
I love that.
We got some real mileage out of that question.
Yeah, we did.
God,
Look at us. That's
we
like a
really
whole
did.
episode.
Yeah.
It's just us telling stories of stupidity.
But also, like,
Which is
is that
fun.
not fun?
Yeah.
Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained? I've done so much dumb stuff in my life. Like, at least it's providing something for somebody.
Yeah.
I am really curious. Has anybody done anything stupid because they were dared to?
I mean, probably as a kid, but, like, nothing that has had lasting enough, like, nothing that had enough of an adverse effect for me to remember it, clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
can't really
I remember
think of
the
anything else.
impacts of my own stupid decisions much more, because, frankly, the results there are worse than anything that anyone's ever dared me to do.
I mean, it's not like a specific instance, but a general category of what we used to do in high school. My friends and I used to, like, prank each other's cars. There was a lot of TPing of cars, and stuff like that. I once filled a friend's car entirely with balloons.
Love it.
That was a lot of work blowing up those balloons.
I'm gonna
But
say
a lot
worth
of it was like us, yeah. But a lot of it was like us egging each other on and stuff. So sort of fits into that.
Yeah, actually, when I was in high school, we played me and two other girls, we had like a 2-year-long game of tag that we played by smacking each other's asses. And I'm frankly surprised that we didn't get in trouble, because this was happening on school grounds frequently.
I
And
had
we
a game.
religiously followed the no tag backs rule. We took it so seriously.
I had a game kind of like that with a couple of friends in like 6th or 7th grade, but it was like your knee. It was like you run up and smack their knee. I don't know why. I mean, we were 11, and for whatever reason, we thought this was funny. I don't know. We all played soccer together.
Oh, my sister, whenever I'm just standing, my sister always kicks the back of my knees to make me fall.
Classic.
And that's going on now. That's not even a stupid thing that happened when we were kids. That's a thing that happens to me currently.
Oh, my sister and I still actively hurt each other.
Oh, yeah.
It is just a running thing, which before that sounded bad, but now she's U.S. Navy Special Warfare, so now maybe it's
Yeah, Brooks, at what age does
bad.
that cease, or does it never?
So for reference, my mom's brothers who are in their 60s still wrestle. So
yeah, I don't know. I feel like the physical violence kind of tapered off, but there's still all the mocking and
Oh, my sister and I still smack each other.
Yeah, I mean, we continued doing that for a long time, but I think just eventually at some point we're just we're tired now.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I'm the youngest, so if I'm too tired, they're too tired.
It's a pretty good way to think about it. Well, this has been fun. I'm glad that we all got to share some stories. I'm glad we're all equally stupid. At least we're on equal ground.
Wait, okay, now I'm curious. When you assumed the balloon was helium, did it sort of dawn on you it wasn't when your voice didn't change?
No, I was 6 drinks deep at this point.
Okay. Because that would have been, I mean, obviously I don't know how much alcohol, but that was my first thing. Been wait a second. Either I'm helium resistant or
that's a blurry night still.
That'd also be the lamest superpower in the world.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, I was just curious.
If you don't, don't take hits from random things from random balloons in nightclubs. Is the lesson that I learned.
It's good policy.
It's a very good policy. All right, well, thank you, friends, for fighting with us. Thank you for bearing with me while I sound like garbage. And we appreciate each and every single one of you that listens to the podcast, watches us on YouTube, watches our streams, literally anything. You guys are awesome. And we'll be back again next week with Emily. She texted me. She thought we were going at 7:30 because she took a nap immediately after Zach sent that message in the chat and didn't see the follow-up.
Okay, that's fair.
So she's good. It was just a miscommunication. Okay, adios, everybody.
Bye.
This week's episode of the Fighting with Friends podcast was hosted by Bridget Kelly, Zach Calderon, and Dr. Sarah Brooks. You can find other episodes of the podcast on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, or your other favorite listening platform. Follow us on Twitter at BridgetKelly98, at Zach Calderon, and at AnnSarahSaid. Rate and review us on your podcatcher of choice. Like, comment, and subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitch, and join our Discord community using the links in the description. You can also help support us via the Acast supporter feature or consider donating to our Patreon. Thanks for listening.